In a world full of excuses, we hold the line for the truth.
The 1950s are often remembered as a time of post-war optimism, suburban growth, and white picket fences. But beneath the surface of Cold War America, the government was harboring secrets that sounded less like reality and more like a psychological horror film. Imagine walking into a standard apartment in San Francisco. It looks normal enough, but behind a two-way mirror, a CIA agent is sitting with a glass of martini watching you. You've been secretly dosed with a powerful hallucinogen, and you have absolutely no idea how you got there. This wasn't a rogue operation. This was a fully funded, top-secret U.S. government project. Welcome to Operation Midnight Climax. To understand Midnight Climax, we have to look at its parent project, MK Ultra. In the early years of the Cold War, the CIA became obsessed with the idea that the Soviet Union, China, and North Korea had developed brainwashing techniques. The director of CIA's Technical Services staff, a man named Sidney Gottlieb, wanted to find a truth serum, or a way to mind control enemy agents. And his substance of choice? A relatively new, highly unpredictable drug called LSD. But Gottlieb had a problem. Testing LSD on willing subjects in the lab didn't simulate how the drug would behave in the real world. He needed a way to test it on people who didn't know they were taking it, in an environment that they couldn't control. Enter George White. George White was an ambitious Federal Bureau of Narcotics agent who was effectively hired by the CIA to run the operational side of things. In 1953, White set up a safe house in San Francisco's Telegraph Hill neighborhood. To the neighbors, it just looked like a regular apartment. But inside, White had rigged it with two-way mirrors, hidden microphones, and recording equipment. But how do you get unsuspecting citizens into a CIA safe house to drug them? White's solution was as unethical as it was effective. The CIA hired local sex workers to lure men from nearby bars back to the apartment. Once inside, the men were slipped doses of LSD, marijuana, or other substances into their drinks. The sex workers would leave, and George White would sit behind the two-way mirror, sipping bourbon, taking notes on how these men reacted as their reality completely dissolved. The sheer recklessness of Operation Midnight Climax is hard to overstate. The targets weren't enemy spies or foreign assets. They were everyday American citizens, businessmen, sailors from the local ports, anyone who White figured would be too embarrassed or confused to go to the police if something went wrong. And the CIA didn't just stop at safe houses. They expanded the testing. They reportedly dosed people in public bars, restaurants, and even beaches in the Bay Area just to see what would happen. There were no medical professionals on standby, no psychological screening. If a victim had a terrifying bad trip that lasted for days, they were simply cast out into the streets to deal with the trauma alone. Why did White do it? In his own words, written in a letter later to Gottlieb, he said, "I was a very minor missionary, actually a heretic, but I toiled wholeheartedly in the vineyards because it was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, cheat, steal, deceive, and rape with the sanction of the highest authorities?" Operation Midnight Climax ran for over a decade, finally wrapping up around 1965. But the public didn't find out about it until over 10 years later. In 1973, amid the panic of the Watergate scandal, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MK Ultra files destroyed. Millions of pages of history went up in smoke, but they missed a few financial records. In 1977, a Senate investigation known as the Church Committee uncovered the truth. The public learned for the first time that their own government had spent years running an illegal, drug-fueled blackmail operation on American soil. Operation Midnight Climax remains a chilling reminder of what can happen when government agencies operate completely in the shadows with zero accountability in the name of national security. What did you think was the most shocking part of this operation? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to dive deeper into history's darkest secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.